Hey everybody, it's Gypsy, and welcome to my multidimensional life. So yeah, I'm wearing my hat. I, whenever August comes around, I start getting anxious for fall. So I've been obsessing a lot. I've been doing crafts and stuff for fall decorations. Anyways, so today I wanted to talk to you about awakening. Okay, now again, just my opinion. And I think I'm more or less asking a question. Um, you don't have to, if it doesn't resonate, what I'm saying, if it doesn't resonate with you, just politely leave it. Um, no big deal. Um, so awakening. When I first started hearing that term, it was quite some time back. And I wasn't sure what it meant at first. Um, and then I understood, and then spiritually, becoming aware. And then things started to get confusing. Then I started hearing about woke. Now, at first I thought, well, maybe that's just a different way of saying awakening. Um, but then after I learned about that, no, that's totally different topic. They're different. Um, and now what I'm seeing is the Great Awakening. I think people might be using it incorrectly because the Great Awakening is people waking up spiritually to who they truly are. And yes, it brings you to um, understanding a bit better who's truly running this place and what's going on. I told you guys, I didn't know before, but like when I was a little kid, all my life, I knew something was not right. I couldn't figure out what it was. And even now, it's like I see it more clearly. But to truly understand it is like, I think it's just too mind blowing. It's like, y- where does such evil come from that you think you have to control an entire planet? Is beyond, I just can't grasp that. But I really don't. I understand, okay, this is what's going on. I don't understand how it works or the system. The one thing I know for sure is nothing is ever, never is as it seems. That's like, okay, if they're showing us this on the surface, I'm always like, well, what's truly going on? Now, many people today, it's like, I feel like they're using, they've awakened as, oh, well, I see what's going on with the government, and it's usually, their own, the U.S. government. I see what's going on with the government, and I'm, okay, we'll just use U.S. I see what's going on with the government, and I'm liberal or I'm conservative. And what I'm saying here is, I see this on both sides. I'm not taking any sides here. Um, so I see it, and I'm liberal or I'm conservative, and I am right because I'm awakened. And if those people across the aisle have a different opinion than mine, well, they're still asleep. This is a term I cannot stand, is the word sheeple. If any of you heard that, the mixture of the word sheep, easily led, and people. I I hate that word. Um, we were all in that place at one time, first of all. But I don't feel that uh, um, somebody who doesn't see things the way you do makes you awake and makes them still sleep. I don't, that's not what it is. has more to do with spiritual awakening than anything else. And yes, we're spiritually awakening so that we can correct the damage that has been done to us and this planet. This way people are waking up. Now, not everybody has chosen to come here and wake up. Some people want to stay asleep. And it's fine. Okay? Um, but it's the misuse of the word. Now, this brings me to what we always need to remember is they switched the meaning, as they always do. They will take any word. I mean, that I could have had on a vocabulary test in school, and they have changed it to mean something else. Okay, so with the awakening, they've done the same thing. It just means, well, the person who doesn't agree with you is not awake, and you are. Okay, they don't care which side you're on; they're just going to tell you you are. Um, and this is my opinion. This is what I see, and I could be wrong. It's the one thing I know. I may give you my opinions or what I'm seeing. There's a possibility I could be wrong. Okay. Anyways, they are using these kind of things to divide us. Okay. The fear, first of all, is the biggest way to control a population. It is so easy. You set up fear and they'll do anything to be safe. But also the second one is division. So in every country on this planet, they have set up where, okay, here, liberals, conservative, Democrats, Republicans, and they throw that in to keep us divided. They want us divided. If we're always at each other, if we're always fighting each other, one, we're not paying attention to what the bad guys are doing. We're not. And we are so set in our ways, so stubborn, and so quick to judge each other that we really don't care about what the bad guys are doing. We just want to be right. Okay. So they are using the Great Awakening, the awakening. They have switched the meaning of that to keep us divided so that they can keep control. That is the one thing we have to understand. This is a spiritual war. We are in spiritual warfare. We have been for longer than people realize. But it is not Democrats versus Republicans, conservative versus liberals, not any people group against any other people group. It is not. The spiritual war is us. No matter what our viewpoints are, who we are, what color our skin is, what our religion might be, etc. It is us, the people of the United States, the people of this planet, against them. The ones at the very tippy top of that pyramid, okay? The ones that have been in control. People used to call them the elites. Now I am more often hearing people call them the deletes. And I love that term, deletes. Because if we have not already deleted them, we are in the process, even though we're arguing amongst each other, which we really need to stop. We're getting rid of them. Okay. Now one of the ways they have controlled us is the use of government. So government makes all these millions of laws, even in the US, to control us. What I would love to see is everybody on this planet living their own life, being true to themselves. And while doing so, not hurting anyone else. Do not cross boundaries. Okay. First of all, what others think of you is none of your business. And if you're living your life and you're not hurting anyone, I don't see a problem. It doesn't matter what I think or what someone else thinks. If you're living your life, you're happy, and you're not hurting anyone, let's say if you're hurting people, then you're probably not happy. Um, it doesn't matter. But once you start crossing boundaries and hurting people, then there's a problem. So this would be part of the awakening, is realizing that. So, okay, I understand, like, say you have a lifestyle or, you're someone who you think, and remember, a lot of times this is in your head, and they will use that too. They know what you're worried about as an individual or a people group or whatever, and they're going to use that. So if you're going to think, all right, I have this lifestyle, or I'm this color, or I'm that religion, or I'm this weird, um, people are not going to accept me. Um, you have to start getting the attitude, I don't care. I don't care what other people think. What other people think of me is none of my business. That is awakening. And I will live my life and be happy. And if I'm not, I will make the changes I need to be happy. That's the awakening. Um, it is knowing that you can live your own life and be true to yourself without forcing it on others. You don't need other people to accept you to be happy and live your life. You don't. Because what others think of you is none of your business. So they are using this kind of stuff to pit us against each other. And we all have the ability to create our own reality. So if you have a reality that you're not happy with, well, you change it. You have that ability. Um, so you cannot allow them, ones at the top of the pyramid, who have been against us, the people, for so long. They've been controlling this planet for, I'm not even going to get into how long, you guys wouldn't believe me. It's how one of the ways we stop it. Changing your reality if it doesn't suit you. Okay, now when I say changing your reality, there are certain things that are huge things you cannot change, okay? All right. Say I wanted both of my sons alive and here with me today. That's a reality I cannot change, okay? My older son died. I have one son and a daughter-in-law. I'm happy. What more can I ask for? Because my other son's gone. That cannot be changed. He's gone physically. Spiritually, he's still around. Yeah, it's... Anyways, we got to stop that. We got to stop using, like, letting them use this stuff. If you're not happy, change your reality. If you think, if you're one of those people, I can't, and I can't get it. We are strong and we are powerful. If you need to have it changed in your life, you can do it. Ask your spirit team to help you, and they will. Oh my cat was just like using her claws against the side of the house. God, I hope nobody in my family hears they just happened. Anyways, so yeah, the Great Awakening is first and foremost coming to know who you truly are and what makes you happy. It doesn't. It leads to that. Has very little to do with the governments and the BS that goes on in this world. Um, it's knowing who you truly are, getting to know yourself, loving yourself, self-love, and making those changes you need. I'm not talking about being selfish, and I'm definitely not talking about hurting others, but manifesting your reality. Okay? Um, knowing those kind of things. Learning more about how um the spiritual aspects of ourselves, others, this planet, and the entire universe and beyond, whatever that may be, works. Learning how that. And when you start doing that, then you start becoming more aware of what has truly been going on this planet and how to live in it, how to make those changes. Because once we all start learning how to manifest our own reality and we're going, it doesn't matter if we don't agree with each other on a lot of stuff. We could go, oh, we don't like what they're doing. So we, as a mass consensus, get our manifesting skills going as a mass consensus and change that, which is really what's going on now, even though it does not appear that we're doing that because we're at each other's throats. We need to stop that. I'm not saying you have to get along with everybody. I'm not saying you have to have a relationship with everybody. It's not possible, and you do have to pick and choose. But it does not mean we have to be at each other's throats. We need to focus more on changing that. So I could go on and on about this because I have so many ideas in my head about what would make a better world. But I wanted to talk about the Great Awakening. It is not political. It isn't. Now, it brings you to the point where you might understand it better. But the Great Awakening starts with knowing your true self, your spirit, your soul, understanding how well that works before you can get to this point. And believe me, I still don't get how or why they have done what they have done. I mean, I do and I don't. It's like I understand the surface, but what I always know is even what I'm understanding now might be more than I understood last year. I still don't know all of it. And again, I always question everything, and I encourage all you to question everything and do your research, okay? Just because I'm sitting here saying this stuff doesn't, go do your research. Never take mine or somebody else's word for it, okay? So I'm going to leave you with that. Blessed be, and make it a joyful one.